Hey guys, it's me, Waldo2413. Doing a little live tonight. It's Saturday. Hope you guys are having a great time. Haven't been on live, been missing a little bit. Been doing some traveling back and forth. But I'm back tonight. So hopefully we get some people on here. Hopefully we get some good questions, and hopefully I can give you guys some good comments. If you guys haven't already, please like, subscribe to the channel. If you find the content useful, give the video a thumbs up or the chat a thumbs up. So thanks everyone for joining. It's me, Waldo2413. Hey, what's up, Act Bad? How's it going? Not too much, just hey, how's it going? How's things with you? How's things with you, Act Bad? How's everyone doing tonight? And Elijah, how's it going? I have a new design, but need TKO transfers. We can help you out with that, Akbad. Have you gotten a discount code yet? Or have you tried them yet, TKO? Because I actually on the one of my videos, hey Being Pam, how's it going? Because in the one video, Akbad, I had actually a discount code. You just had to email. Yeah, I have that discount code for depending on how much you buy, you get like 50 or 20 off your order. So shoot me an email and I'll see how many we have left and I can send you which one you want. Go to that video if you don't mind, because the video there's two different ones and you can only use one. So go to that video and see which one works best for you and send me an email and I'll get you that code, Akbad. I'm good, still trying to do sublimation. What are you trying to supplement right now? Here's something that I actually got, and I want to say thank you. I got a video coming out. I've got loads of videos I've recorded. I've just been way. I gave the code to somebody the other day. Hey, Leonardo, how's it going? Hey, what's up, Frankie? Took me a second to figure that out. I'm good. Just counting down the days to the end of the school year. That's really good. You have a code for TKO? Yeah, I do, Leonardo. Shoot me an email. Because I don't have that WhatsApp hooked up on my other phone right now. I got to reinstall it, Leonardo. So send me an email and I will get you the information, Leonardo. Because I've been I just been real busy and I got to reinstall it because I got to get a hold of some of my Chinese vendors again. But I kind of messed up my phone and kind of had to get it reworked on, get a new one. So I went the same brand and everything, but send me an email and I will get that. I'll get you a transfer, Leonardo, or get you the code, and I'll help you out there, Leonardo. Hey, what's up, Primal Graphics? How is it going? How's the tumblers going for you? And then Elijah. Elbow cough. Yeah. Yeah, guys. If you also, guys, hopefully I'll be doing a review soon. If you also need, there's another DTF printer. That if you guys need to get something done, hit them up. It's Primal Graphics. They're on the screen here. They can help you guys out if you need to get some DTFs done. One second, custom graphics. I keep getting light and dark spots. Can't figure out the time. Leonardo says I shout out Primal Graphics. Yeah, definitely check them out, Leonardo. They're another good person. They're a friend of mine. They do great work. I keep getting light and dark spots. Can't figure out the time. Are you using the toaster oven? Are you using a mug press to do the tumblers? Sorry, guys. I was sitting there trying to read and type. There you go, Leonardo. I sent you both the different ones. One is the more you spend, like they've got a limit. I think if you spend over 150, you get 50 off if you use that top one, Leonardo. So hopefully, let me know how that goes for you. Which printer did you go with, Primal? Did you go with the one that you sent me the photo on? That green one? Toaster oven. The few things you can try in the toaster oven, I don't know if you have. If you're not using the convection part where the air circulates it, try that. Another thing you can do is rotate the cup midway through. So normally I try to keep right around 375, and I usually go right around 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes. And what I do is midway through, I turn it 180 degrees, so one side and then the other. But what I do also on the wraps, when you're using the wrap on a tumbler, you can see the color will come through. So like if you don't see the color on that paper through the shrink wrap, and it like, so you can kind of look and see, it's kind of like a way to check. And if you check out some of the videos, I actually got photos of that to show that a little bit better. Check and make sure you see that before you take it out and undo it, because what could be happening, you might not be getting even heat. So by rotating it, it could help you. Or having the convection on could help you too. Everyone has a little bit different luck with it. I also too, if you're using a convection oven, put the rack in the middle or on the low side, because heat rises. So if you have it too high, you've got that heating element up top, and it's literally sitting there baking on it. And if you have it too low, you've got the heat on the bottom. So the convection does help a little bit, but I would try kind of make sure it's in the middle, put the tumbler in there, rotate it halfway, and just kind of look at the side of the tumbler, make sure that you see the color coming through it. If you don't, you could use a little bit longer time. Once you get that kind of dialed in where they're coming out good, then you can tweak your time a little bit and then tweak your method out a little bit more. Some people go a little bit longer, some people go a little bit less, but you'll want to get a constant image on there, and by rotating it, that could help you out a lot. I think that could be some of the problems. On that one, what is your shipping time on that Primal Graphics? Did they tell you? The Epson 8550 is still in the box unopened. I'm really wanting to DTF print. So you're going to start that, Pam, at when school gets out? Are you going to start trying to do some of that? Thanks again, Leonardo. I just got that. Leonardo, I should have my thing updated this week. So hopefully I'll be able to use the probably a month. Well, that's not too bad. I do want to say thank you to Denise. Denise sent me a shirt, guys. She also sent my mom a gift. She made my mom a gift. It's an air freshener, an air freshener cover. Means a lot. He says, I'm going to try that. Thank you so much. Yeah, let me know how it goes. Now just post a comment in one of my other videos too, and I'll comment back and forth with you and let you know how's it, like if it's working, or I'll give you some more input to help fix the issues. If you can't get it tweaked right, I'll kind of give you some more pointers, and I'll try to make a video for you on it also. The other thing Denise sent too, she also sent me some of the Fago that it was a limited edition. It's hard. You can't get it down here at all. But she sent me some Fago also, the fireworks. So thank you so much, Denise. I am going to do a video to say thank you also. But it just means a lot. The gift meant so much. My mom has Alzheimer's, and she's pretty bad off, and she doesn't know a lot, doesn't remember a lot. But that air freshener kind of refreshed her memory. No pun intended, but it just kind of, my grandmother used to make stuff like that, knitted. And so when she's seen that, literally, it just kind of, it made her day. And kind of, it's really nice to see that. So I will be saying thank you to Denise. I don't see her on here right now, but thank you so much, Denise. Thank you for everyone too, everything that everyone does on the channel. Yeah, there's I think Primal's graphics, Primal's website is primalgraphic.com. So if anyone needs to check that out. The other thing too, Nigel, when you're doing the tumblers, even if the shrink wrap, sometimes if you get it too close to the elements, it can actually start to melt a little bit. It's fine though, just still keep them in there. You will see it transfer through the paper though, and that's what you want to see when they're doing a good job on the transfer. I will have, like I said, I've got a bunch of videos coming up. I've got videos on some patches, Velcro patches, and I've got some videos on some 3D printers, and I even got an X-Carve also too that I'll be doing, or not X-Carve, an X-Tool D1 I'll be doing a review on too. I got a bunch of other stuff going on. Check them out now. Do you do banners? No, she does DTFs, Pam. That's what she does. The other thing too, I did pick up another printer. I was over Easter, made a trip up north and picked up some more equipment. So I'll be doing maybe some videos on that. It was pretty fun trip. Pretty long haul. I drove by myself there and back. So it made it for an interesting, fun trip, to say the least. A lot of long roads, not long on the interstate like it should have been. I was on just a bunch of country back roads, and a U-Haul van driving all the way up to Wisconsin and back. So, but I'm back now. Things are good. Got everything unloaded. So we're working on, like I said, working on a lot of other things. Up there, I just picked up another printer. I picked up another Mamaki CJV150. This is the little bit smaller, and I've got the larger one. This one is the 130. So it does 52 or 53-inch media. But it's just a nice little add to what I've had. So it's a print cut vinyl cutter, so I can do some more stickers with it or banners with it. It runs the same software that I have, so it's software that I like. And the printers I like them better than a lot of the other stuff. So kind of, like I said, I'm more purple than Muto or whatever. Epson does blue, I believe. But when it comes to the printers, large format, I kind of like Mamaki. So went with another one. Yeah, Leonardo. It was just a little over 2. So I really couldn't pass it up. The company that had it, if someone known talked to a little bit before, he ended up going to a UV printer because, he's got a flatbed Mamaki, and then he also went to the UJV Mamaki. And so he went to the UV because what they do up there, like he's got what was it? I can't remember the model number, but he's got the Brother DTGs, and he's got like 4 or 5 of them. He's got quite a bit of stuff. The guy, they do a lot of stuff, but their big thing is same day turnaround. So he went with the UV printer to do like their stickers and technically even their vehicle wraps, but he wanted to be able to print and turn it out around the same day, where, as you know, with the solvent printer, you got to let it off gas close to the day before you laminate it. And that's not what they wanted to do. They were already doing everything else same day turnaround. They've got an Audi DTF machine. They had 4 or 5 autos, M&R autos. But their big thing is just fast turnaround and same day on a lot of stuff if they could. So what they did was switched over and went with the UV, and they were getting rid of the solvent, and the space is very tight and cramped up there. So they really didn't have space to even keep it and run it as a backup or anything. So got a pretty good deal on it. So I couldn't really pass it up. So I took it up. Yeah, and like I said, because of course, as you know, it's the print cut one, so it does printing and cutting. So I can laminate, put it back in. It's just like the other one. The width, most stuff anyways, is going to run in that size. The 130 and the 160, and that's the width of the media, as you know. Man, sorry, my mind's blank. But on both of the 150, the CJ 150s and all that, they both have dual print heads, so you can run either dual CMYK channels to kind of get the speed up, or you can run like the CMYK light gray, red, it's not red, orange, and I think green or whatever. They have like a few different choices. What they had running in it was they were running the white and the silver ink. The white and silver is a little spotty on the printout test, because most people have the white and silver never use them really as much as you need to. And technically, I could flush the lines and then either put new lines on up to the print head and then just run the dual, or just leave it. More than likely, I'm going to leave it. It's also got the light cyan and light magenta on them channels. More than likely, I'll just leave it and run it how it is for right now. But that's kind of something, like I said, we'll have some videos on that. Also, like I said, I'm just testing the waters on seeing kind of what videos people want to see, what people like. I did a few of the neon videos. They've kind of flopped. No one's really watched them. So I don't know if I'll continue to do the neon stuff. The TKO video's done pretty good for me, so I might do more with their stuff. It's just kind of, I'm going to wait, kind of see the feedback I get on all the different things and kind of do the content people want to see. Like I said, we do have some videos. Can you change it easy from the silver, or you've got to flush it? You can take the cartridge out and use the flushing cartridge and flush the lines. My one Mamaki tech in Nashville that I've talked to even before, when I was called him when I was checking out some questions on that, what he told me, you can actually flush the line out, and he said the only issue is something when you have like the silver line is there is possibilities of having silver in that line, and that print head could be a little gummed up or clogged with some of that silver flake or whatever you want to call it. He said, so you might see it in that color channel when you're printing. So you could be printing red and some of that silver still kind of be on the wall and come off. He said to get best results, if you wanted to switch it back to like a double CMYK or go to the light magenta, light cyan, gray, and then I think it's red or green, orange, whatever. He said the best bet would be to change the other 4 lines on it. I wouldn't have to really change the first print headlines, just the second lines. He said the other thing too is just stick with it and keep it like it is. He said he can do it either way. He said it's up to me. He said, but he said for best results, he said, because you can flush the lines, and he said the only issue is you might be flushing them more than you would like and wasting a lot of ink, even purging that head to get the ink to come out good, where you don't see all that stuff in it. He said it can be more of a waste on the ink value than it would be just to change the lines. So, are you making the neon? I saw the toaster. Yeah, I can do neon. That one I had some help because we were moving some stuff around. But yeah, I can do neon. I was going to do some videos on that, showing people how neon is set up. Like you've got a few different torches and all that. Ribbon burners, some of the cross torches, and then do a solvent flush on the lines. Yeah, that's so like that's the big thing. Like I said, it's just deciding. But like, yeah, I can do neon. Like I said, I even have neon. I don't have it around here. I've got another neon tube sitting around here somewhere. But I can bend neon. I've done it a bunch. And like I said, it's the videos on it. If I do the videos, it's kind of a slow process video because neon's not fast. There's a lot of do a solvent flush on the lines, actual Mamaki flush. Yeah, because like I said, the Mamaki rep up there that he had, because he called me as they were going to take it out, and he said, hey, his rep's going to do a flush so that it'll be ready for me to pick it up. So the lines were flushed. And then he said, technically, he did like a print head sample right before they did that just to show me. And he said, it'd be up to me to do what I wanted with it. But he said they would do it that way. I called my rep, and my rep said it's kind of, he said, you can do it either way. He said it doesn't bother him. He said he was just kind of giving me some pluses and minuses both ways to flush the lines. Very cool. I'll take a neon sign. Yeah, neon, it's a dying art. More and more, like now, like there was one close to me. And I bought a lot of his stuff out. Hey, how's it going, United Federation of Nerds? How's it going? I bought his shop out because his glass burner that he did have that was doing it, he actually died, and he's been dead for 4 or 5 years now. So he just had the equipment and didn't do any of the stuff. But after that, the next closest one's probably 2 or 3 hours away, if that. But it's just, it gets harder and harder to find neon shops because you have LEDs. And I have a video, which I don't know if I'll release now, but I've got an LED strip sign, and it looks decent, but you're never going to get the glow of true neon. Neon glows so much brighter. There's so much more. The LED tube thing, you can do some cool stuff with them though. Like I had a banana one for the bananas and pickles. It was just a banana though. And it was done in the LED, and you can butt up glass right to the edge, or not glass, the LEDs right to the edge, because it's an LED strip just with coating on it. They can also do like some of the colors inside, so you can do like live color changing, kind of like these lights I got here. The downside though, like with real neon, you can't take it that close, but real neon just has a glow that the look and the glow, it's just hard to beat. And like I said, people still buy it. It just became more of art style than anything else. It's not like back in the day, like where people were putting signs on. People still do, but when it comes to costs and saving money, the more cost-effective way is an LED. So if you're just having like a big bar sign out front, you're not using neon tubes inside of it. You might have a neon open sign, whatever. Some of your beer companies will still make neon signs. It's just slowly going away, though. A lot of it, too, is being made in China that is out there. So, like all your bar signs that are made in China, the life expectancy is very short just because the parts aren't as high quality as they could be. And they're just mass produced. But the thing with neon, no matter what, any neon sign you will ever get, that glass is touched by someone's hand, and that glass is shaped by someone. You can't use machines to do neon. There is no machines that you can heat it up and then like run around Big Bends, but all neon is heated by a person. The glass is blown when you do curves and all that. So that glass is all worked by hand on any neon sign that you ever see anywhere. Even on straight tube neons, you have to do rollbacks to kind of seal it off and all that. All that is done by hand, though. There is no machines that make neon, so neon is all a hand-done job. So the costs and all that, it's not cheap compared to LEDs. Neon's a lot more maintenance and upkeep on them. They will last a very long time. They hold up extremely well. But there are drawbacks to them and all that, but they just look better, I think. I'm not trying to sell people because I don't even advertise doing them, but the aspect of them, and they have a feeling. It's a tradition. Like I said, the nice glows and all that. They look a lot better. Like I said, I did the video on this little doohickey. It's a neon tester to test tubes. But like I said, and these are super cheap. They're like $12 to $18. So if you buy one of these, I like good old bar neon signs. Yeah, and that's the thing is like a lot of people do like the traditional neon. It's like I said, it's hard to beat the look, the warmth, the glow, and what you can do. Like as for art, like that toaster, that was an art piece. I didn't create it. I just fixed it. The tube was bad. And so it's one of the things that people do art stuff like that, or they'll take a painting and then wrap neon around it or put it on the outside or do different patterns and all that with it. So there are stuff that like I've seen three-dimensional airplanes made in neon. There's a lot of cool stuff that art is done with them. But as far as the old school signs, like where all your building signs and all that were neon, a lot of people are getting away. They're getting going to LEDs or the full digital LED screens or LCD screens, just because you can project different images, do a lot more stuff. But neon still stands out. Man caves are a great example of it. Neon dominates man cave stuff. People like that look, like the warmth, like the glow, like the color. And that will always be, like I said, it is getting less and less how many people actually do the neon. The nice thing is, though, with that, it's kind of good job security, and you can demand more for the product. So a simple thing that you might not have, when I first kind of messed with it, that I might have, let's say, got 50 to $100 to repair, and now you're getting almost double that, just because there's not many out there. You still have a limit of how much you can charge, but the thing is, there's few and far between where to get it done. And people that really like that stuff, they're going to pay it. And like I said, it's more of an art form now than it is like just the basic. But they do have a nice kind of glow to them and feel. So how's everyone else doing? So are you running a Mamaki now, Leonardo? The one thing I like about, and this is just my preference, about Mamaki over, let's say, a Muto or an Epson and some of the other ones, is their RIP software. Of course, they give you it with it, which is kind of nice. But the thing to me about it is like I don't need to run Flexi, or I don't need to run some of these other softwares. Wish I had bought a UVJ100. Yeah, that's my next major purchase, is to go with their UV Mamaki. That's kind of my plan for the next year, not this year. Is to maybe get a UV one. The results and all that I'm seeing, and everyone I know that has it, and then the Mamaki Shop. I mean, it's the stuff you can do, because you can do like the build up 3D kind of the image, is the lacquer and all that. When you put the lacquer on them, it's just amazing to me, all the cool effects you can do with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind Flexi, Leonardo. The only thing I don't like is I don't have my one computer messed up, and I had an older copy anyways. But I hate subscription base, where I've talked about this before. I would rather just pay a flat fee. And I've looked everywhere for people that had old Flexi software to try to buy it that would run, kind of like where I got that latex out there, the HP latex. And I don't want to buy a subscription base because I don't know how much I'm going to use that HP latex. And I liked Flexi. I just don't, like I said, for me, if I only use it, let's say every 2 months, it's still not going to bankrupt me paying the monthly fee, but I'd rather have the software, own it, and if I don't use it, I don't feel as bad. I know I've paid an upfront fee, and it's something that because like even like on Photoshop, I don't use a subscription base. I'm using the last version before then that I bought, and it works. I mean, I do get an issue. Sometimes people will send artwork in the newest one, and it sometimes doesn't open correctly. But I'm not to that point where I want to upgrade just because I don't want to pay the subscription. Where a lot of the stuff, like 90% of the stuff, or 99%, I would say, works perfectly fine. And what ends up happening anyways on the other ones, I just tell them, hey, send it. And then we're an older version, so I don't have that much issue. But that's kind of the only issue I do have. But it's something too that, to me, it's worth. Like I've paid for that, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. What's up, Rye? Look, I'm repping you, Rye. You can't say I don't show love, Rye. And now, the drink of tonight, Fago Firework. Dun dun dun. This stuff is great, guys. The Fago Firework tastes just like the Rocket Pops. And literally, like, it's the aftertaste is so close to the wood taste, too, from if you chew on it. What's up, Rooster? How's it going? How's it going, Rye? Good to see you. But yeah, that's my only complaint with the Flexi. And like I said, I've posted on forums everywhere. Yeah, you like that shirt? This one doesn't have the year on it. The other ones do. The orange ones or the yellow ones I made. Wherever, I don't have the transfer route here. Wherever that one's at. Hey, Rye, look, I do got something cool though to show. I got some upcoming videos. I'm just gonna do it's just to show something fun to mess with. But it's another laser, a diode laser that I've got to do a review on. So it's something to stay tuned with to check out that also, Rye. I also have a 3D printer I've got that I'm going to do some reviews on also. But that's a fairly cheap one, and it's a diode, though. So you can do some kind of fun things. It's gonna Cheech and Chong. It's going like Cheech and Chong. Well, that's pretty good. I've been pretty busy, right? Like I said, I went up to Wisconsin over Easter to pick up that other printer. So I did that. And then I've been back and been just swamped working on a bunch of other stuff. I got them other patches done from the other guy, the Velcro patches. So these are actually... So for anyone that wants like a Velcro, so the Velcro comes off. But so if you had a Velcro hat, like where some people do, these were made for literally the hat, or like he's a military person and they go on the bags, but it's the Velcro on there. And I couldn't find an easy way to do that myself with my embroidery machine without sewing them on after. And so I sent them out and had someone do that. And literally the price, I mean, it was pretty good price for him that more or less he already did the outsourcing on all the material and all that. So did a video on that. I got to release that. And then I also, Mr. Rooster, nope, not today. And then I also, like I said, Denise sent me a shirt that I want to say thank you for again. Hopefully she'll watch this video. She also sent me the Fago, and she sent my mom a gift. So thanks again, Denise, for that. But all in all, just pretty busy. Doing a bunch of little odd and end things, staying busy. Where'd you get that hat? Looks amateur. Yeah, I mean, It's one of them things, Rooster. It was a freebie. No. Yeah, Rye did a pretty good job on it. He did some pretty thick puff on it. It's got some thick, dense puff. That puff's about as thick as me, so. But yeah, Rye did a pretty good job on it. I can't complain. You can't get my 3D printer. I can't get my 3D printer to work. Which one are you using, Federation of Nerds? The one I'm using a actual resin. Well, I'm using a resin printer. Is a printer that I'm using. But I'm using an Anycube Photon. And like I said, I did an unboxing video. I thought I had some of the stuff in here. I did the video the other day, and I still never uploaded it. It was resin in a mess and smelly. Yeah, it is, Rooster. The reason though I wanted that is where I have a mill and machines and all that stuff. Is I got it for actually to do castings, so to make some jewelry stuff and all that. So it's more or less where you can't use a filament to get it that fine a detail, and a lot of it won't melt away correctly when you're doing some castings. So, and I could send them off all the molds and all that, and have the wax kind of casted made for me. But it was something. It's just easy. Like I said, that's something I might do some videos on. Also, how to do some casting of rings or jewelry. Some basic stuff. Like I said, it's something that never showed on my video, but just trying to see what people want to see. Like I said, where I do a lot of the other stuff. And like I said, I've done the 3D molds before, how to do like silicone molds for people. So you could technically use the silicone molds and make them. Rooster says, my 3D printer is still in the box. I never even opened it. Yeah, you need molds. I get that. Yeah, and like I said, it's res is not the best smelling stuff. What I found is, what's up, Nova Works? What I found is literally just put it in the other room, let it run by itself. Come back and kind of, because you can set on that when I can set a computer up to monitor it, and it will tag me when it's done. But yeah, it's not the best smelling stuff. It's kind of like some of the other stuff too, like even the powders. Lots of embroidery, fun day. I have an indoor 4. Can't get it to level properly. Lots of embroidery from. I'm trying to get a hold of Freddy Krueger mask mold. You guys missed it. If not on our Discord. Yeah, I'm actually on the Discord, Mike. I don't always comment, but I do get there. How's it going, Levi Apparel? On the Freddy Krueger mask mold, Rooster, I have a friend. He's in Nashville. They have the largest haunted house in Nashville. Indoor haunted. Well, it's all indoors, but they own. It's a chain of haunted houses, and like the one right in Nashville runs all year round. He's actually their mask and prop maker. He also has his own mask out. It's Van Grove, I believe it is. Von Grove, like he can get you a mask like that, or get you, he does custom mask also. Let me see if I can find his page, and I'll hold it up to the screen. You can message him, but like he does some pretty wicked stuff. Von Grimm Productions. So this is my friend's site. Let's see if it will focus. There's something he's worked on. But like I said, he makes his own mask, and then he's in charge of the props department inside the haunted house. And like I said, he goes to the scare events and all that, and he does pretty good stuff. I got one from Right FX, but when I sent it back for touch up, the MF went out of business, and I never got my mask back. Pretty cool. Trying to get DTF4 color on my HP T1. How's that going, Levi? You have any luck with that? Or I know some HP heads got heat to them. It's not a lot, but it can be enough to actually affect them though. So that could be some of your problems. Paint embroidering the back of a flex hat. Yeah, that's the thing, Rooster. Too. A lot of them will do like he literally does like loads of touch ups, and especially for the haunted house because they're always getting torn, ripped. So he's also doing like loads of repairs on them and staying busy. But it was kind of cool because, like I said, I've got to go through there. Like, of course, and here's these are just some different ones, not super scary or anything, but some new ones that he's literally going through, painting them all. But yeah, it was kind of cool to go through all the haunted houses when no one's technically in them. The massive ones, because the one we like when I first met him, we did the walkthrough, and it was like 400 houses, so you could pay and you go into different ones. But we went through the whole building, and it was just like insane to see how much money, all the props, all the effects that they have, and all that. It really pretty cool stuff. I was really in shock and awe on that. They move around too much. Had to use a specially flat to do them. Yeah, Mike, have you tried like the flat one that just clamps it and lays it flat? So you're just clamping like on the back section flat instead of trying to use a rotary. So one at a time, he says 8-in-1 clamp. So I used the round one, but only had one. So one at a time. Oh, yeah, that can be a problem if you only have one. Then you're running a two head. So now I know what Mike's next investment is going to be. Another one. I posted a video on YouTube, but it's not public. How I had to make it work. Well, that's going to be pretty cool when you release it the rest of the way, Mike, so everyone else can see the video. Yeah, like so I've been busy just loads of different things, the DTFs, setting all the other stuff up, and then like I said, that drive took a bunch out of me because went there and back, and the weather was horrible. All right, Mike, I'll check it out. Yeah, that's the biggest thing I think in this kind of industry is finding ways to make things work or make things simple. Hey, Mike, we're in the. Hey, Mike, that's like saying call me. We're in the phone book, but the number's unlisted. That's pretty funny, Rooster. Yeah, it's be right back. Gotta catch those kids at the zoo. Well, Rye's on vacation, it sounds like. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I always find is like how to do things or make it work. Especially like when I first started, like on a manual press, how to find things out or clamp things or do things. Like I've got so many specialty pallets that I've made out of just MDF boards and all that. Um, just because like they would either have a board and you'd buy it and it wouldn't work good, or there'd be something wrong with it, or I didn't find something I like. So literally I'd buy some boards, cut it up. Like that was what I did with my first oversized print. Rooster says Rye is always on vacation. I don't think Rye ever works. I think his job is just vacation reporting. That's what I really think. But that's how we did it. Like the first oversized prints I ever did is literally I just cut a massive sheet and did so I could fit the shirts on there, and then I turned my screen sideways since I got the side clamps. And mine extended out wide enough. So turned it sideways, ran the image sideways, and did it that way. We did a huge diagonal piece that was just way overkill, way overdone. I want to say it was 17 or 19 inches across. Came out fine, but it was one of them things. And so we made pallets for each position, so 6 of them. So if I would have had to buy 6 just for that job, I wouldn't have made any money on that job. But I've made a lot of pallets just for different things or different fixtures and jigs. Yeah, another dance floor wrap, and the island runs tomorrow too. And the aisle runner tomorrow too. Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing Mike's got on lock is all that wedding stuff. He does a ton of floor wraps. So when you do the floor wraps, Mike, if it's because I know most of yours are just the wording in the center with their names, you don't laminate none of that, do you? Since it's only up for a day, you just pretty much print it and throw it down, don't you? Because I really couldn't see a need to laminate it when it's only a 1-day job or 2 days at best. Pain right now is that the material is back ordered till June. Yeah, that's no good at all, Mike. You don't like that other yeah, for those only full color prints do we laminate. So now do you laminate on a full color print if it's on the floor still or no? Or do you just let them dance and just kind of scuff it up and ruin it knowing that it's going to come up the next day? Have you tried that? I know I can't remember the name, Mike. He's the guy that he used to be a motocross rider. And I know you said you got his sample in before. It begins with an S, I want to say. An S or a P. They're vinyl. But I was going to say that stuff, they always have it in stock. And so far, the little that I've ever tried of it, I mean, it's not bad. I used to do custom. Used to do customs and interventions, but only for the people that didn't care if they paid thousands for the innovations. But it stops because I hate dealing with the snobs. Have you ever tried, Mike, not doing laminating over the full color to see how bad it would get tore up or the image would get messed up? I mean, I know you're charging them enough money anyway, so it ain't going to matter either way. I just didn't know if it was worth not doing it since it's only one day. That if it would really get that bad by the end of the night, where it would look pretty bad off, because I know most of the photos are done early in the or early part of the wedding, and then they got the father-daughter dance kind of early. So I didn't know if it was something, it would still look good enough for all that, and then at the end it wouldn't matter, or... Not many full or color floors we do anymore. We usually do them for Indian weddings when they're installed around the country. Yeah, so I guess if you're doing that, they're going to pay that much anyway, so you might as well just laminate it then. You had photos on one of your things, didn't you, Mike? Or a video at one time? I thought I remember seeing your stuff on some of them floor weddings. When we do trade show floors, this is different certified anti-slip material that isn't laminated. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you got to do the non-slip, or you got to put the non-slip over top of it and all that. Hey, how's it going, Eddie Jr.? So what percentage are your actual floor wraps right now, Mike? Because it seems like I see a lot of videos where you're working on them or doing them. How many a month do you do? Do you normally full at least doing like one a week, or about 2 to 3 a month? What's your percentage? Because I know weddings aren't usually during the week; it's only on the weekends. So how's everyone else doing? What's everyone working on? They enjoying the weekend? Changes. Weekends before Easter, we did 3 and none last weekend, 1 this weekend. Eddie says, what's the 2413 come from? They are my lucky numbers, Eddie. Like when I did sports and all that, my jersey number will either be a 24 or a 13. My grandmother's birthday was the 13th of November. I was born in November. So I'd always use 13. I know a lot of people are superstitious about that number being bad luck. But I've rocked it on a lot of my stuff. 13. And then before I used 13, I used 24. That was my dad's basketball number. So I like them both. And then what is kind of weird, my godchildren, they're very athletic, and their dad was a basketball player and played college ball and all that stuff. His number was 24, and I played paintball, as you guys know. And so when I played paintball, it just kind of was, I had my number choice first, but I knew that he always used that number, so he had that one. So I just went with the 13, but depending on what it was, I would use one of them 2 numbers. And like I played high school and all that, basketball and sports and track, and some of the outfits, like that number wasn't always made for someone certain sizes and all that stuff. Or like in basketball, a lot of times they didn't have the jersey 13 back then. So 24 usually they always had. Mike says, oh,
friend that has some patents in paintball. Owns Dallas Cousins Paintball. Yeah, I know Cousins Paintball. Bought a 20-pound cylinder from him. Yeah, I seen you looking for a cylinder, Mike. I was going to tell you literally. What I was going to say too is just go to like air gas and all that. They'll sell you a tank so that you can just take it in to get filled, or they'll do the lease thing on it, depending on how much you're going to be using it. Just because if you own your own, it's a little bit cheaper, but the downside too, if they don't have on-site CO2, they can't fill it. And the other thing is tanks have got to be hydro tested every 5 years or 3 years, depending on what kind of tank it is. They're steel or aluminum. So the tank has and if you get a tank hydro tested, not every place can do hydro testing on site. I have a place in my city that does it. But hydro testing a tank is $10, $10 to $15 on average. So some people rather just not pay that, because the other thing too, if the tank is out of date, they can't fill it. I don't know if you knew all that stuff, but yeah, Cousins started in North or South Carolina, Mike, and then they expanded everywhere. It's pretty cool what they've done. I thought the 13 was because Jason Voorhees. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people because of the bad luck numbers. I get so many people talk about it saying they wouldn't use the number. And I don't have none of my jerseys here or anything, but to me, it's just a number. I'm not very superstitious on things. So to me, the number meant nothing, and it's just kind of something different. And then back, of course, like when YouTube and all, or not even YouTube, but when kind of, because that was one of my first emails. I want to say Hotmail it was, and then I went to Gmail. But like Waldo was already taken, so you had to add some other things, and they just would throw numbers after it. So I was like, I'm gonna put my lucky numbers. So they're my 2 lucky numbers that I always use on everything. And then it's also 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on how you rearrange it, the pattern. There's a lot of things with that and the order of it. You can do a lot of difference with it. But to me, it was just something fun, and them are the 2 numbers I use on everything. Making a yard sign, need laminating film that's 24 inches wide, having glue issues. Are you needing just normal laminating film, Pam? Have a cold one and having a cold one and stacking comic books. Yeah, you got all them comic book nerds to go through. Yeah, Airgas isn't selling them or leasing them, only swapping and refilling. Yeah, because I was gonna say Airgas is everywhere, Mike. And then like we've got like Modern Supply, which is another big chain one. But like I own tanks, and I also have some that I've leased. Like on my welding tanks, I always just lease them, because all you do is you just go in, drop it, pick it up. Because a lot of them too, depending on the place. Like I have a weld shop near me, the one place I go, and they cannot fill there because they're within so many yards of a school, and it's a safety issue to fill. So what they have to do, they have another facility, so they have to take my tank if I go there and either swap it. If I don't have a swap contract with them, they won't swap it. They'll fill my tank, but what they got to do is I got to come and pick it back up, because they got to take it to their other facility to do the swap for me. So are you using an anti-siphon tank, Mike? Because CO2 tanks for paintball normally have the red ring on them, and they're anti-siphon, so they pull the liquid out, where like your food beverages and all that aren't anti-siphon. You're just pulling off the top because you don't want the liquid in there. You just want the CO2 gas. So I don't know if you knew that or not, Mike, that it's a good possibility you could have an anti-siphon one. If that's the case, you can flip the tank upside down, and then the tube's at the top instead of at the bottom. Rooster says, hey there, young lady. Mike says, air gas will do 20-pound swaps for me for 32. That's not too bad, Mike. Yeah, that's the thing, too. A lot of places, like we quit using air gas at my work. We had a small settling tank, and we had a contract with them. We bought the tank from them, but they were doing the swaps. Well, they don't carry that size too often in stock that they ended up selling us. So long story short, it was a pain in the butt, and they wouldn't, like, it was so hard to get them filled with that, or when that size would come in, people would already get it, and they wouldn't do a swap out to the bigger because they only have a limited amount of tanks in their facility, they said. So we got away from them and just kind of don't use them. Are you doing them in vinyl? Eddie says to Pam. Pam doing Coroplast yard signs. Eddie says, thanks, just curious. Yeah, there's no problem, Eddie. Like I said, you're one of the first people that ask about the number. No one's ever really asked what them numbers mean or the significance of them. But, yeah, it's just, that's what the numbers are. Like I've got it in a lot of my other stuff, putting in things, or I'll hide it in little places. One of them two numbers a lot of times. They just always come up a lot. So, but that's why I have them. No other reason other than that. Leonardo said, I hate rental tanks. Rooster, only tank I own is for my kegerator. Yeah, Mike was filling more or less, what is it, where you make your little pop mixes, or you're adding carbonated to the water. Yeah, he just said that. Yeah, that makes carbonated water, drinks, etc. Yeah, I was saying that's what a lot of people are doing. Like, it's a bad thing too when you buy the small disposable one, and then they do have an adapter to refill them, but you also need a tank to fill off of. The volume you get is so, like, you overpay on any of them for that size. But I mean, it's one of the things they built their system around that, and that's how they're making their money off of the resell of their own cartridges or selling their own adapters and all that stuff. You're way better, and you can convert any of that stuff to work off the normal fittings. Hey, everyone. I'm sublimating them, but my film is 12 inches, and the glue is bleeding out where the sheet meets the crease in the lines in the art. I'm trying to think how to fix that for you, because I was going to say you could shift the artwork, but you're always going to have them lines are going to line up that set pattern apart. The other thing, you might be able to put two pieces of paper on top of each other and laminate them. Or not laminate, I'll put it that way and then put them on. That might actually work. I got my tank from the beverage factory. No, it works $100 in parts with regulator, etc. to charge my own 2-liter bottles. Yeah, I was going to say, and that's like what a lot of people, these things can hold like 120 psi, if not more. I forget the actual burst rate, but plastic is very strong. But that's the thing too. A lot of people will make their own like pop or carbonated beverages and all that. The other thing you can do too, if you do coffee, you don't want to put CO2 in coffee. CO2 reacts with the coffee bean and gives it a very bitter taste. But any of the nitrogen fill, like, and you can use CO2 to push it out. Like when you see people have cold brew where they're got it on tap, a lot of them probably using CO2 just to push it through the lines. But it's not actually in the mix itself as much, really. It's not fizzing and all that. But when you buy nitro coffee, like Starbucks and all that has it, you can get it in the can. They actually put nitrogen in it. And you can actually do that yourself at home. If you do coffee brewing and all that, you can take the kegs that you can put pop in or anything else, little kegs that you can, if you do homebrew or anything, But you pour your coffee into there, and then you put your nitrogen on there, and you pressurize it. You don't put like a nitrogen tank is 1,000 psi and up. Don't put that much in there. You only need about 20 psi, and then literally shake it up so that it will infill with the drink, and then leave it under pressure. And so that's how they do the nitro brew coffee when you go to coffee houses and get it. And then they use the spigot so it pours out just like a Guinness would. It gives the bubbles and all that. And nitrogen doesn't add the flavor like it would with the CO2. And then the ones that they do in the cans, they're nitrogen filled. They drop liquid nitrogen in there, put the lid on, and that builds the pressure up because the gas goes from the liquid to the gas inside of there. So more useless, pointless information, but stuff I've done and worked with. So just so you guys know. Cornell kegs, yeah, them kegs Rooster work great for that. Like I said, especially people like because cold brew coffee, you don't get all the bitters taste from the coffee if you're doing that. It's a higher concentration. So I mean, if you like coffee, you like that stuff, you can do a lot more with the cold brew stuff. So it doesn't give you as much heartburn and all that. But like I said, and then you can do all the other stuff with it. Elroy Charles, how's it going? Good to have you on here. What's up, family? Not too much. Like I said, I'm just chatting tonight. There's not. We're just kind of jumping around, lots of questions, just more or less chatting and talking. Like I said, covering a bunch of just different stuff, random things. So do you drink a lot of pop then, Mike, where you need to or you make your own pop more or less, Mike? Is that what you do? Or are you just doing it for or is it just for carbonated water? Nova Work says, oh yeah, so he did say that. I'm ready to make real homemade ginger ale. All this stuff nowadays isn't real ginger. Here, one that is, Mike, which I don't know if you can get it there. It was made in Michigan. The company's called Verner's. And they used to on their bottles. They don't do it anymore. Verner's used to be aged for like 3 to 7 years. The pop was. And now it's not aged anymore. It's the flavor simulated. But if I'm not mistaken, Verner still use real ginger in their pop. Although I only drink water. My wife drinks carbonated water. Use about 2 liters a day. United Federation of Nerds said coffee should only be hot. I can kind of agree with you, Mike. Federation of Nerds. He is in Canada. Canada is very, very cold a lot of times. So a cold drink in a cold air, you're probably going to freeze to death. Rooster says, I hate hot coffee unless it's a Cadillac. Yeah, and like I said, I don't really drink hot coffee per se. If I do drink coffee, it's like cold brew stuff. I just like kind of like that, or I'll drink it like iced coffee and all the other stuff like that. I like tea a lot though. I actually drink a lot more tea than that. I like hot and cold coffee, but it's only fancy ones. So I don't get off. Yeah, well, that's a thing, Mike, where I was saying about even like the nitrogen in it, because that stuff like Starbucks does on their nitro brewed coffees and all that stuff. And of course, they're all cold brew when you do that. But that was a big craze a few years back, because like I said, I've actually got a device that I made to do that, just because it was kind of coffee hot, beer cold. That's definitely a true one there, Mike, in Canada. But yeah, that's like I said, I got into that learning the whole science of how they do that, the putting the nitrogen in there, making cold brew. Because if you've got the time and you get like good roasted coffee, you can actually make some really good stuff a lot cheaper than you could buying it. It's just the downside buying it. For one, they've perfected the recipe, the beans, the brewing it, and all that. And a lot of people say the taste from like a coffee house doesn't taste the same as if you make it at home. The nice thing with cold brew, though, it's a concentrate, so you can blend it out to the flavors you like. I normally cheat for coffee and actually at QT or at our church. So does your church got a coffee shop in it, Mike? I know the one church that I've been to around here, I don't go there. I went there and visited, though. They actually got a coffee shop in there. Like a legit coffee shop they run. It's kind of weird to see that it's not just like the church pouring coffee in the morning and it's super strong. They've got a true legit coffee shop. Oh, that's pretty cool. I knew your church is fairly big, so I didn't know. I know it's one of the things, not all of them do that. I just thought it was kind of weird and unique, though, to see coffee shops in a church. So see, guys, you can learn anything from this channel. I know Rye's big on his espressos and all that he makes. He's got that new machine. I used to have a girlfriend named Mocha. The best coffee I ever had. Yeah. Yeah, there's a converted bus and they drive around town. They go to like 4 or 5 places in Bowling Green area and surrounding areas, but it's called Tin Roof Coffee, which they don't watch my channel, but I've talked about maybe doing a video with them, but it's called Tin Roof Coffee. That is the best. It's not really even, I mean, it is coffee, but like literally like they'll have like Oreo coffee or like red velvet coffee. And literally, I mean, they do have hot coffee, but they're known for their cold brew stuff. They make all their creams and all that stuff, all their blended flavors that they put in. Or if you get like the strawberry coffee, literally the strawberry drip, white chocolate strawberry coffee, like all these super things that are like super, like, I mean, you can get the almond milks and all the different, very, very, very good coffee, but it's not like it's not like just a cup of coffee. You get it like the cold. That stuff is amazing. And usually whenever I'm out and I see their bus, I'll stop and usually get me one. It's just their caramel stuff's good. Coffee brewing is nice, Leonardo says. Colombia, Honduran, Jamaican Blue Mountain is nice. Rooster says beer brewing is the best. Unfortunately, I'm on the wagon right now. Mike says, you saw the mural I did a few weeks ago. That was the coffee shop at church. Okay, see, I thought that I seen that, Mike, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I did see the mural, and I did remember the coffee shop thing. I literally just, out of my mind, I pictured it not being the church. I didn't read the description. And I kind of didn't think nothing about it. I seen that and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Usually a lot of times, Mike, I'll look at the photos and never read descriptions or content on any of them. But yeah, I saw that. It was last week, the week before. I remember seeing that. It was really nice. I honestly think, though, too, if the church has got like a good coffee thing, that's a great way to bring money into the church because people want coffee anyways a lot of times. And they're going to stop and get coffee. So if they can get it while it's there, the money's going to a good cause. It's reinvested. It does. I think it's a win-win. I just think, like, I mean, it's nice. Like I said, like the downside, someone like me, for instance, if I went there and visited, I wouldn't know they had it. So if you stop for coffee, you're gonna stop before. But it's kind of cool to see that though, because like I said, it's not every place does that. And like I said, I've been to one down here, and I thought it was the coolest thing to see that. We just moved into expanded space, and the profits from the coffee shop goes to drill water wells around the world. Well, that's even cooler yet, Mike. See, so that kind of makes people want to buy coffee then that go to that church because they know it's going to a good cause. So kind of like a good thing for you. You can say, hey, honey, look, the money's going to help drill wells for the coffee I get that day. But yeah, I think that's a great cause, Mike. I mean, like I said, the other one, I don't think they. Good to having you, Mike, Federation of Nerds. Take care. Great to have you on. Great to see you again. Yeah, I don't, and a lot of them, I'm not saying they don't use the money for other causes because, like I said, the one that I seen before, like I said, I don't know what they do with their money. I just know they have the coffee shop in there. But I think that's a great thing to actually, especially like that, because you're tying it in and you at least know where the money's going on the coffee then. Because I was gonna say a lot of them too, like I said, I mean it helps a lot. And like I said, it's kind of going to a good cause and people are gonna drink coffee anyways, so why not make the money to put to good use? Because I mean, people are always in churches or anything are looking ways to help raise money for the churches or make more money for them. And that's actually a good way. Read the War on Merle, not. Oh, yeah, I'll go check it out, Mike, again and read it. Like I said, I looked right at the photos and didn't really pay much attention. I just kind of glanced at it. I seen it though, and like I said, it caught my attention. Hey, Oscar, how's it going? But yeah, I think that's a great thing, Mike. Like I said, I think if even because like there's the downside. Like I'm in the Bible Belt, of course, and we've got my city alone. No kidding, kind of joke with people. There's more churches than people in the city, but their biggest issue is there's so many churches there that instead of having a larger church, there's a bunch of small churches. So like not all of them could fund doing that. But like when I go to Bowling Green, where I do go, there are a lot more mega churches up there, and them are the ones, like I said, the one I went and visited and all that. They're able to do that stuff, but the advantage is, I mean, they can put the money to a lot more use. Like the other church up there, what they do also too is they'll do like free oil changes first of the year, or when school starts back, so the parents or single moms and all that can have the oil change in their cars. They do a lot of stuff like that. And they get money from doing other little benefits and all that from the other things. So I definitely think it's great to how they're reinvesting their money. I think it's awesome that they're doing that. I think it's pretty nice that they are. So that's pretty cool. How's it going, Oscar? You having a good time? Yeah, I think that's a good idea too, Mike, though, because if you're carbonating, if you're going through that much water anyways, carbonated water, there's no point to not do it that way. And save you some extra money and all that, because CO2, when you buy it in bulk, it's a lot cheaper than when you buy the other stuff. That's like the other thing too. If you use, like, let's say you've got reverse osmosis machine. Leonardo says, so for the Mamaki. Yep. What about the Mamaki, Leonardo? How's the HP quality? The HP, honestly, I've got sitting there. I think I've powered up twice. Haven't done any prints on the HP. The biggest thing for me with the HP, yes, I've been receiving good news lately. That is awesome, Oscar. Very nice. You plan to run 3 machines? Not really sure, Leonardo. I got the HP. I literally got all of them on good. Well, not my first Mamaki, but this last Mamaki, I got a good deal on it. And the HP, I wanted a latex printer just to see how latex was. Because I know the whole, you can run it. You don't have to worry about off-gassing. The samples that I have got from other people that use latex, does anyone know if PET laminate film can be sublimated? I need help here, please. I don't think so. It is a poly. Congratulations, Oscar. PET laminating film. Polymer film. You know what, Pam? I have something that will work for you. When I hop off here, Pam, I will call you. Leonardo says PET takes only a certain amount of heat. I have something that will work, Pam. The don't think it would be sublimated. I do have a process that will work for you, Pam. And I think they're actually out in your side of the country. They're on the coast. And they will have what you need, and it will actually work. What I missed, Rye? You missed my weigh-in, Rye, for your challenge. You can't see the number now. I set a record, but you didn't get to see it, Rye. You missed it too, Rye. Oscar's going to be a grandpa. Did you get to see that, Rye? Oh yeah, I was giving out printers, Ashley. I've got printers. I'm throwing them out, Rye, left and right. The other thing, Leonardo, on the general printing, like if I'm doing a small sticker, let's say, I don't see as crisp of image on a latex printer. All the samples I've got from everyone that's got HPs, it's not bad. And a customer, if you gave them it all the time, they probably wouldn't pay that much attention. But if you got them side by side, it's a night and day difference. So like, and then if you're doing a big, let's say, vehicle wrap, honestly, you're never going to notice that probably because it's so big and the pixelation size. But like a 3-inch sticker or smaller, like I said, if you don't have the one next to it to compare it to, it's not like bad. It's just not 100% perfect. And whatchamacallit in Texas, he runs one, and he said the same thing. It's because the nice thing with you can literally run it, cut it, and send it out. That's the great thing about it. For stickers, I don't even use the Mamaki. I'd rather the Muto. Yeah, and like I said, in the other thing, like that's why I eventually want to get the UV one. Forget it. Sorry, Waldo. I'm at the zoo. Kids are running around. Well, that's cool, right? Make sure you send photos or take photos. Did some 5 years ago. Mike says, who wants some 2 or 3 inch adhesive vinyl graphics? Did some 5 years ago. Well, thanks for stopping in, Rye. Yeah, and it's like most people, Leonardo, like, or like if you're doing banners for say, the latex, I mean, that's it. It works great for that stuff. It's not that it's not a good printer per se. Um, like I said, even like, and this is I haven't ran mine to compare. These are just the samples I've been given. They're not, like I said, they're not bad at all. The advantage is too that you can run it and send it right out the door. Like I said, the guy that I picked mine up, that was the only reason they switched to the UV, is because they're doing same day turnaround on a lot of things. And just talking to him and all that stuff, the numbers that he's running, like the amount that you get, like for a same day turnaround on a shirt, stickers, anything, it's very nice. The profits that he was getting is a very great thing, or nice margins on it. And that's what he was saying. He said he does a lot more same day. Customers are willing to pay it on the rush delivery, and so it's a win-win. So he's got to get the stuff out. And so that price margins was worth him going that route. He said other than that, he liked the solvent printer. His printing lady, she was, when I was talking to her, she liked it better. She said a lot of the stuff, they don't use the lacquer to do the 3D. She said you can do some cool stuff with them. She said they don't do much of that. Their big thing is a same day turnaround though, and they needed the ability not to have to worry about off gassing. The other thing, Leonardo, that some people say too, if you're in a shop in a colder climate with the HP in the wintertime, you do save on your heating bill a little bit because of the heat they give off. They're running 220 plugs. I want to say they're 20 amp breakers. They're only drawing about 8 amps, but they've got it because the heating element on it. So you are running 220 plugs, but they give off quite a bit of heat to be able to dry it. So, like I said, I don't have it up and running to compare side by side. I just compared to the stickers I've had done from HP people, and they're not bad. Like I said, and if you don't have one to compare to of another one, you're not really going to notice. It's kind of like when people get shirts done that aren't cut vinyl but done different vinyl methods. Most people, if you hold them up and give them, let's say, cut vinyl, DTF, screen printing, all the different processes. Hey, Quick Color, there you go, is a perfect example, Leonardo. Quick Color uses HP. And so he can tell you the quality difference between the HP and a solvent printer of how well it would look. But like I said, it's one of the things too that if you gave someone all the different print methods, water-based, we'll skip silicones inks, but plastisol, DTF, something like a TKO or a super color, all the different processes, and you print them on a shirt, kind of like I did on that one, and you give it to a customer. Just got my second unit. That's awesome. But the I'll help you out in a few minutes, Pam, with it. I'll get it taken care of for you. But the big thing is they'll be able to tell some of them. They'll be like, hey, this feels like my shirt I got from Walmart. This feels like that. That feels like, and they might not know what the material is. They might be able to tell you it's a different, but there'll be some of them that they can't tell you the difference, or they couldn't tell you which one is the better process. Like for instance, when you do the watercolor where it doesn't feel, or discharge ink, some of them's going to feel that. Or like I said, if you have sublimation, if they don't have a sublimation shirt, they're not going to be able to tell you what that compares to. Hey, we still need to connect to figure yours out. Yeah, I'm definitely going to quick color. I went and actually, you know, I was telling you, I went and picked up another Mamaki. But I still gonna get the HP up and running. The Mamaki deal that I did get was even better than the one that I was gonna get before. So I couldn't pass it up. So I went and got another Mamaki right now. But I do want to get the HP up and running. But that's the big thing too. Like if you lay them all out, a lot of people they couldn't tell you and then like sound like where people say sound or feel of a shirt, you're gonna always have like a plastisol is gonna have a sound because it's plastisol ink, no matter how thin they lay it. The big difference too is like if they lay a thin layer of plastisol or a thick layer, if they're manually screen printing or they're auto printing, you're going to get a different feel, different thing. If they press the shirt after, if they didn't, there's so many things. And if you show a customer all the different ones, they might pick one that most people might not agree with as being the best method, just because that's what they were used to seeing or getting done. Some people seen the shimmer of gloss or flat inks and all that. They look at it even like vinyl. The biggest issue that people have with cut vinyl is the adhesion. If it didn't stick and they get that shirt, first thing they say is, hey, I've got an issue here. This shirt didn't, like they said, I washed it one time and the ink fell off is normally what happens. And so that is one of the thing. But the thing is, if it's pressed right, as everyone knows, cut vinyl will stick and hold if it's done right. But what happens is a lot of times they'll run into something like that. So then they get the feeling if you tell them you've got a heat press option, they assume that that's cut vinyl, even though DTF is different. Everyone will gravitate towards one they like. But most of the time when someone comes into the shop, they don't ask you to say, I want it done this way, unless it's a certain customer or whatever that knows all the processes. Most of the time they just want shirts done. So like when you're doing kids sports, they're going to be cut vinyl if you're putting names and numbers on them. Unless you have a screen print jig to do the numbers, but if you're doing names, the names are going to be cut vinyl, unless they got a DTF. But like I said, I'm keep bringing up thinking the other methods, but they're going to get that. So they're going to have to live with that. And they're not going to question and say, hey, the name is this way, or the material feels different there than the rest of it. Most people are content with what they're used to getting from that supplier. They're not going to notice the difference. Like a good example, where I screen print that one shirt all the time, and I show them in the videos, we are going to do some DTF ones on this next order they have coming in. And the reason is they need a different color ink to go on the shirt. And they're putting some more wording around it. So that means I'd have to burn another screen. So instead of me burning a screen, and then the one that they're doing it for, it's only for their certain employees. So we only print them about every 2 years. So it's not worth burning the screen for as little as they need of them. I'm going to DTF it and press it, and I'll probably not tell the difference. Leonardo says, if you don't like the HP, I might buy it off you if the price is right. Shoot me a price quote, Leonardo. Anything's for sale. I like my Epson F570 for 1 to 24 shirts, but I hate the scorching on the polyester shirts. That was Quicksilver. Leonardo, I want to do a remote location and the HP might work perfect. Quick Color says, Waldo, what's the minimum to put something on your auto? It depends on what I'm doing, and how many colors it is. Before I had DTF, the big thing was, like, for instance, if you on a big color order, like if the shirt's got 6 colors, I don't want to manually screen print that. So I'm going to run that on the auto, but I'm not going to do like 20 shirts. Or if I do, they're going to be paying a high premium if they only bought 20. So on that number, I would probably even do DTF, and kind of depending what the image looked like or the colors and all that, just for the simple fact that it's worth running on the auto, because you could say, but 6 screens for 20 shirts, you're going to have to charge them a tremendous amount to do that. And so the amount that I would charge for screens and all that, I can DTF it for it cheaper. So I would probably, on a small order, I would DTF it. The other thing too is just depending on how busy the auto is. Like if the auto is being used, no matter what the order is, it might have to be around on the manual. The more colors it's got, I don't like running them on the manual, just because you're never going to get the perfect pull as you do on an auto. So your colors can vary slight bit if they're blending colors. So if you're doing like a CMYK print or something like that, or a one color, 1C, one color, 24 shirts on your auto. Just depends, because see, here's the big thing. If the auto's open, I'm going to run almost any of the jobs on it, for the simple fact, even a 1 color print, if no one's not using the auto, to like, because especially like you're going to have to register your screen on either one. The advantage of the auto, your arms don't get tired. But if the auto's being used, or if I'm going to set it up for, like, let's say a big job, let's say I'm running 600 pieces or whatever, and there are ways to run it. Like, for instance, if I'm only running a 1 color, I can use one of the other heads on there if I'm not used, like if they're not being used, because I got 810 on the one. So on the 810, for instance, I can use one of the open slots if I'm not using it, but to walk around, set it up, depending on the quantity, I might run it on the manual. But the other thing too is, if I have the 2 people working for me, if the autos are being used, yeah, it's going to go on the manual. Or if I'm going to go out there and do it, or if I'm doing stuff for like the YouTube videos, I try to do a lot. Like, that's why we haven't had many videos, is it's hard to find time for me to go do them on the manual. Manual printing, it's not bad, but like the time to do a thing on an auto to a manual, once you have an auto, you get kind of spoiled, so that even like a small thing, like a 10 job shirt, you're going to tend to want to gravitate towards that, just because, especially if it's only like a 1 or 2 color print, the speed, once you get it registered, which you're going to have to register them both either way, the speed of once you start running it, it's so much quicker, because all you're doing is slide them on, slide them off. But the big thing is there are times too where a lot of it, let's say I don't have a screen clean, because I don't use the same size for the manual to the auto. I'm going to go right to that manual if I got, let's say, a free screen cleaned that's ready to, or a screen ready to go, compared to then having to wait a day or 2 cleaning it. So I'm going to run that on there. I try not to go above 3 to 4 colors manually. And the reason is just because it's, when you got a print flash print on a manual compared to an auto, the time on an auto, you're not losing nowhere near the time you are in a manual. Because the other thing too, on an auto, you can set up, if you got a flash, let's say every other color, you can still skip the heads and put a flash unit there. Manually, I guess you could, but you're limited. You only got 6 heads anyways, so, or 4 heads or whatever. So if you're putting a flash in between or taking a head out to do that, you're limiting your colors now. But a lot of times too, some people will flash every color, and in auto it's not that bad. You just skip, put a flash there, or step back depending which style you're running. Manually though, the more colors you have, the more time it adds. Where on an auto, that's not, the more colors, like once you start doing more than one color, where you've got a factor in where you're going to flash the colors, once you hit that limit, it doesn't matter. Your time is going to be the same as if you're doing, let's say, 3 colors to 8 colors. The time's the same, because a flash unit, they're all flashing at the same time. So it's not like one flash is longer than the other. The biggest thing you run into on that is figuring out cooling down time in between so that you're not putting on ink on a hot shirt. But I don't really have a set number. What I do anymore is determine on what process I'm going to run it on. And then I look which one's going to be open. Because like I said, smaller quantities, which we factor the price in. I don't specifically come out and tell a customer, hey, I have a screen charge. We do have a screen charge. It's added into like the total cost. Just because when I got into it, I'd always hate when someone would bring me an invoice and say, can you match this? And the shirts might say, let's say $4 a shirt. And then you go down to the bottom and it says $120 for screens. And then they've got like, let's say 3 screens or whatever. And so the cost is on there, and the customer's like, hey, it's $3 a shirt. And it's not, or $4 a shirt, whatever it is. They didn't add that into the cost. So their total, like I'll give them a quote and I'll say, here's my quote. And they're like, well, yours is more per shirt, but my number's cheaper if you added up the screens, let's say added into it or whatever. So the biggest thing with that is like, I don't put it on the bottom as a separate line. It's added into the cost. And that eliminates too. So, because I have had people say, hey, can I bring my own screens, where they've actually had screens made. The downside about that is registration points and all that. Some people, they might put one, they might put top and bottom. Everyone registers different to what they put on their screens. So when you're doing that, or the height, if you don't have much play on it, their screens might not work good. Or if you, let's say you've got an auto, you're running bigger screens on the normal screens that you'd run on a manual, and their screens might be manual. So I never really let them bring the screens in, or they see that cost and they see the screen cost, and then first question is, well, where's my screens after? They think they own the screens because they see that price and they think screens are cheap. So you got to explain to them, hey, screens, this is just the cost that we charge for every time we burn a screen. And so I found it easier, instead of trying to explain all the why it's like that to them, it's just factored into the total cost. And they buy 100 shirts, and let's say you charge $20 for the screen charge. So so you add that in, and that $20 is absorbed into them all. So instead of you, let's say, charging $3 a shirt, it might be $3.02 a shirt when you divide it all out, but the number's factored in there. So, and then if they change the quantity, I mean, it varies it that way. But to me, it was always easier to add it into the cost, and it kind of eliminates trying to explain all the questions of, do I get my films? Do I get my screens? And it's just added in there. Because like I said, customers will always bring you the thing and say, hey, can you match this? And then when you give them like I said, that price, it does kind of throw them off sometimes. But then they didn't understand that them prices at the bottom, what they were and how they factor into the cost, because they're not looking at total cost. They're just looking, literally, they're showing you that first thing, and they said, hey, they're doing $10 a shirt, $5 a shirt. They're not looking at the total cost per shirt. Or some of the companies will do the shirt fee and then the printing fee. And if they're buying the shirts from you, normally I add it up as a total. And then if they want a different shirt, I vary the cost that way. that can be a little problematic on that, because sometimes it might come say, hey, I want to get a better quality. But when you give them the full budget, like if you know it's like a school or whatever, they're going to go on a Gildan. When you do all that, and then what I'll do is I will put in the description, it's going to be Gildan 5000, Gildan 2000. I'll put that on there so they know what kind of shirt they're getting. But it's sometimes easier for them to look at the whole picture and say, okay, I'm getting this final product for $8 out the door, instead of having to factor, add it all in, add the taxes all in. When you do it that way and you break it down, or just tell them, hey, it's this much a shirt out the door price for that quantity, it makes it a little bit easier. Because like I said, when they start looking at the other ones, they might only look at the certain sections. So one might look better until you get the bottom dollar. And like I said, some of them's adding all these other fees. Some are adding screen fees and artwork fees separately. And it's not bad, but sometimes too, you'll get into it where they'll be like, hey, I brought you the artwork. And then you're arguing over that artwork wasn't good enough, but they thought it was. So you run into that big issue of, was it really worth it? So by doing it that way, I don't have to deal with the argument of their artwork wasn't good enough. It's factored in. So if they brought me it too bad, or bad, like low quality artwork, and it's something I can fix up fairly easy, I'm still going to do it, but I'm going to add that cost into there, and it's going to be that cost of shirt. So next time they come back and they say, hey, the shirts are this much this time, sometimes the price might vary because the art, if I already had their artwork, for instance, and I'm not having to make the stuff. But I vary it that way. I do have a set price list that I do, and it's off a Gildan shirt. Like it's got my price breakdown of, let's say 50 shirts or 20 shirts, 50 shirts, 100 shirts, and then 150, 200, and then up. And it does each, like so many colors, front, back, each location. And I price it that way. And then, like I said, I do adjust it out accordingly. Like that's a number, so I can easily, if someone calls real quick, I can give you kind of that. It can be cheaper when you come in though, because there are some things that people don't understand or they mess up. And so it works that way. But thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to hop off here now because I got to help Pam. And I said I would. And so I want to be able to help her guys. Thanks everyone for watching the video or live. Please like, subscribe, and follow. I'll have some new videos coming out this week. Hopefully you guys like them. Hey, if not, just let me know, and we'll try to make the content you guys like. Because I know, like I said, the neon videos didn't go off as well as I thought, but it's fine. And so, like I said, it lets me know what people want to see. So I'll try to make the videos like that. Thanks everyone again. And good night, everyone. Like I said, please like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment. If you have any questions or anything, leave it down below, guys. Waldo2413, guys. I definitely will, Mike. I mean, I do get on there. I just don't comment. I commented the other week, but I definitely will, Mike. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks again, everyone. Waldo2413, I'm out.